a young child, a 5-year-old child comes into the confessional and says, I'm being abused by my teacher, father, brother, stranger, what do you do?
Well, in that case, one would ask the child to come to oneself outside the confessional, and if he succeeded in doing that, then he could proceed as one would expect any citizen to do.
But if, say, a child, let's go, communion's coming up, a child of communion age and subsequent to communion where they do make their first confession, and they do say something to you in the confessional, you would say to them, I want you to step outside and say it to me.
Well, not just step outside, but come to me later, or come to somebody who is responsible, who would then take the matter further. But as long as it remains confessional material, there is nothing the priest can do with it. He is absolutely bound to confidentiality.
What do you think of that, Mick?
Well, I mean, I've heard Fr Gearoid on the radio elsewhere today talking about that, and he said that if somebody told him that they had poisoned the wine that he's using for Mass in confession, that he would go out and drink it, because that he would have to act as if he didn't know what he had heard in confession. But I mean, what arises from that is, does that mean that he would leave the rest of the wine for somebody else to drink and die? In which case he's acting immorally, or would he drink it all, or throw the rest out to save other people, in which case he's acting as if he did know.
Well, I would first of all try to persuade the person to change the altar wine, or to go out and spill it or whatever. But if the person refused, and it was in confession, it was a matter of confession, then I would do what I suggested.
You would go out and drink it.
Would you leave the rest of the wine then for somebody else to drink and die? Somebody inadvertently doing it because you haven't warned them?
I would behave as I would if I hadn't heard of it at all.
Well, that's shocking. That shows you've no sense of morality.
Well, then tease that out a bit more, Mick. Like Fr Gearoid, you're saying you would drink the poisoned wine.
That's right.
But Mick, I mean,
and you would leave the rest. Presumably, you would only drink the amount that you would normally drink. You wouldn't drink the rest of it.
I would do nothing different to what I would normally do.
So you would knowingly leave the rest of the poisoned wine for somebody else to inadvertently drink. One of your colleagues, a priest, saying the next Mass.
Yes, because I would do nothing on the basis of what I'm taught in the confessional.
Well, I think anybody listening to this will understand that is a deeply immoral position. That on the basis of what you believe the creator of the universe is saying to you, that you would allow another innocent priest to die by drinking altar wine that you are knowingly leaving there that's poisoned. Or more seriously, because it's an actual case that we're talking about, you would leave vulnerable children to be raped on the basis of not giving information that you know that could protect those children from being raped. It's absolutely shocking. And it shows that religion corrupts. But you can forgive somebody for raping a child.
Sorry?
You can forgive somebody for raping a child.
I believe so, yes.
Yeah, you see, and this is another problem, because one of the things that a priest that was convicted of child abuse said in media reports a few years ago, that what he had done is he had been continually sexually abusing children, and every time he did it, he would go to confession, knowing that by going to confession that he would get a clean slate to continue and doing it again. He referred to it as being like a magic wand, and this is the type of just horrific effects that you get in terms of the actual suffering of small children when people believe that you can just say, yes, I forgive you, and there's no further consequences for you continuing to rape children. It's just utterly shocking.
Well, no, you see, I cannot give that solution to anybody who has not a proper desire or will to better oneself. If one comes in and week after week saying the same thing, that they've done this, then you have to question, have they what we call a purpose of amendment? If they don't have the purpose of amendment, you cannot forgive the sin.
Yeah, but you don't know how long that purpose of amendment is going to last. And we do know in that particular case, which was a priest, that he knew that he would say that he meant it at the time, but he knew that he could change his mind in the future, because that's what he continually did. Is abhorrent.
And Fr Gearoid, I know you're retired now, but you've made these arguments before, I suspect. You've argued this out, and you've thought it out, and you've studied it out.
I suppose I studied this nearly 60 years ago.
Okay. And is there any of the arguments that have been put to you when you put forward these stark scenarios, when you answer these stark scenarios, has there been any argument that has minded you to change your opinion?
No, I'm afraid not. I would love to be able to. Anybody who comes in, somebody comes in saying they're raping their daughter or niece or next door neighbour who's 7 years old. Now that kind of thing causes the hair to rise to the back of your neck. Mm-hmm. So you do your best to persuade them that they should come clean. But if they refuse, then there's nothing you can do. Your hands are absolutely tied. And
have you heard that in a confessional?
I don't remember anything I've heard in the confessional.
But when it becomes law that will be illegal, if you hear it in a confessional, not to report child abuse, for example, will you still not report it?
I will still not report it.